Hey guys, it's Tim coming at you with a review of Titans Rebirth number 1. So making it back into the universe and having gotten himself a new costume, Wally decides to go to the apartment of his best friend, Dick Grayson, to see if he can get him to remember him like he did with Barry. Dick, not remembering him, attacks him for breaking into his apartment, but suddenly a mysterious white lightning bolt shoots off of Wally that somehow makes Dick remember him. However, the rest of the Titans are there and they view that as Wally having attacked him, so they all attack him in defense. Though Wally initially attempts to stay away from them, he realizes that if he makes contact with them, that's what causes the lightning bolt, which causes them to remember him. So one by one, Arsenal, Donna Troy, Omen, and Tempest all remember Wally and have a flashback to their time with him. Wally then warns them about the mysterious being that stole 10 years from their lives, specifically the points where they met so that their bonds would be weaker, and that he thinks that it may happen again now that the being probably realizes that Wally is making people remember. So I'll be honest, I was legitimately misting up as I read this because I was seeing the Titans finally getting back together, which I've wanted to see since the New 52 started. However, that's also where a bit of a problem came in for me, and I'll get to that in a little bit. However, what I will say is that one thing this story does well is that it does feel like a direct continuation of Rebirth for the most part, even down to Wally being the narrator throughout it. However, this issue does have a few problems to it. First and foremost, for this being what's basically the launching point of the new Titan series, this doesn't feel like a particularly good jumping on point. There are certain elements that I feel like I was missing, and based upon a text box that shows up in the comic, it seems to be because I haven't read through Titan's Hunt yet. Also, on a more minor note, it's never explained where Wally got his new costume from, so I guess that's going to be explained in the Flash series. So I feel to get the full experience out of this comic, there are certain things that you would have to have read beforehand, which kind of leads me into the problem I was alluding to before. I enjoyed myself reading through this comic. However, most of that enjoyment came from the fact that I already cared about the Titans and wanted to see them get back together. Now don't get me wrong, the emotions between the characters were genuine, but I feel like I only got the full impact out of them because I already knew who all these characters were. So someone who, say, only started reading DC Comics during the New 52 really wouldn't have any background history with these characters, at least not together, so they probably wouldn't be getting the same experience that I did, and that's really the biggest part of the enjoyment of this comic. And outside of the characters reconnecting with one another, or at least reconnecting with Wally, nothing else really happens in this comic. And because of this, the score I feel most comfortable giving this issue is a 7.5 out of 10 overall. Now, if you're a fan of Wally West and the Titans from the previous universe, then you're going to get a lot more out of this comic than someone who isn't as familiar with these characters, so I definitely recommend it to you if that's where you fall. But overall, because not a lot happens to really engage new readers for this new jumping on point, there's a lot of previous stuff that you need to know going into it, and because the art is somewhat inconsistent throughout it, sometimes it's good, sometimes it looks like Roy's goggles are trying to absorb his face. So if there had just been a bit more in there, I would have pushed the score up, but for what we got, this is how I feel that it should land. Though this issue does give me hope for the Titan series going forward, so I look forward to checking that out when it comes out. But that's just how I feel about it. Let us know what you guys thought about this in the comments below. If you like what you've seen here, feel free to subscribe to us, and until next time, this has been Tim from the Hybrid Network, signing out.